So we've got to our campsite here in Sydney, and it is coincidentally right next to a national park. And because we've arrived on a Saturday, we've got a nature tour to go on. So if we see anything interesting, we'll do some videos. But just generally, it's quite a pretty national park. But because it's in the city centre, it's a little bit more built up than others. And here we have up this tree a very, very large termite mound, because apparently some termites like the trees. So we've just got the bus into Sydney, and we had a very nice ride across the Harbour Bridge. It's very quick as well. And the first stop, just because it was en route, is Market City, which used to be this site of an old market, but now is just a bit trashy. But we're now heading down this road here, and we're going to get to the harbour. And the most important thing of the day, the Maritime Museum with its ship collection. So on our way to Darling Harbour, we have chanced upon a Serbian festival here in the heart of Sydney. So we are now here at Darling Harbour, which is part of the Greater Sydney Harbour. And next stop for us is the Maritime Museum, which has some old naval vessels which are just showing underneath that bridge in the distance. So we are here at the National Maritime Museum, and in front of us we have HMAS Vampire, which is a destroyer constructed around about World War II or towards the tail end of it. And if we walk around here, we have a very nice lighthouse, and we have the submarine HMAS Oberon, which is an older submarine, and that you can see just here. And we also have a tall ship in the distance, which is a replica of the HMS Endeavour that Captain Cook used when he came to Australia a long time ago. But yeah, well worth visiting here. And now we're going to hop on a ferry, go under the Harbour Bridge and go round to the other side of the bay. We are now on a harbour ferry similar to that one in front of us, and this is going to take us on a little tour around the bay and underneath the Harbour Bridge, and we're going to end up at Circular Quay in about half an hour's time, which is going to let us explore the Opera House area. And here we have a great view of the Harbour Bridge with the Opera House beneath it and a train going over the top. Really pretty. We're just doing this little bit of a tour around. We have a theme park over here and an Olympic swimming pool, which we'll be going to in a couple of days' time when we do the Harbour Bridge walk. But we're just going over next to the Sydney Opera House now for our lunch. And here we are going underneath the Harbour Bridge, and we're just going to going in there near where the cruise ship is, in somewhere called Circular Harbour, Circular Quay. And we have the Sydney Opera House dead in front of us, looking very majestic. And we have the Harbour Bridge up there, and the moon sitting behind it. After our harbour tour, we are now in Hyde Park, and the first thing to see is the Anzac Memorial here in front of us, and the pool of reflection here. And now Juliet and I are going to have a bit of a sit down and grab some lunch. So we've now walked through Hyde Park, and we've got this very nice fountain here at the end. We have Sydney's big old Sky Tower up there, and if I swing round, we have a cathedral over there. We're now going to wander in this direction past the barracks on the edge of Hyde Park into the Botanical Gardens. So we're just walking around the edge of the Botanical Gardens on our way to Mrs. Macquarie's Point, which is a very pretty viewpoint. But first thing to see is some Australian warships. I think these are amphibious landing ships, and naval base here in the heart of Sydney. We're now just walking to the far end of this point here where those palm trees are to get to this viewpoint. So here we are at Mrs. Macquarie's Point, and we have a view of downtown Sydney over there. And as I swing round, you get the Opera House with the bridge behind it, and then the bay out towards the sea. Really, really pretty. And we're now going to be heading over to the Opera House to have a closer look at that. We have now reached the Sydney Opera House, and it's as impressive as everyone says it is. We're now going to have a little walk around this complex and get some more great views of this amazing structure. So we're now on the other side of the Sydney Opera House, and we have a lovely view of the bridge in front of us and the Opera House just here to the side. I think we're now debating what to do, but I think we're going to go up one of these pylons right in front of us and get another great view out across the bay. And if I swing around, we also have Sydney CBD over there behind the port. We are now in the Rocks part of town, which is some of the older areas of the city, and it's very pretty. There's a market on at the moment, so they're selling bits and bobs, and it looks like a really nice place to come and grab a drink.
So here we are at the top of the pylon, and I'll give you a 360-degree view. Sydney Opera House. Bridge. And back to where we started.
So after going to the top of the pylon, we are once again walking along the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and now we are going over the bay itself. And up there we have the apex of the bridge. And if I swing around, you once again get the lovely view out across Sydney Harbour. Now, so that's pretty much done for the day. Tomorrow we'll be going to Palm Beach to the north of Sydney. And we're going to walk around the national park, and possibly, if we're feeling like it, we might do some surfing. This morning we are at Palm Beach, which is about an hour's drive north of Sydney. And the point of coming here is to look at these wonderful views of the beach. And because we're going to climb up to the lighthouse up there, and there's apparently some really interesting views of the beach looking down back towards Sydney. Bit of a spin round, get to a great look of a really, really pretty scenery around us, which is also coincidentally where they film Home and Away. So we're heading up this steep footpath past these jaggy rocked pinnacles, and we have starting to get some of the lovely views down the beach. It's going to be another 10 minutes or so until we get to the top in the lighthouse, and when we get there we'll get back to you. We are now at the top of the hill. This is the view looking north up the coast away from Sydney. And if I spin around, we can have a view of the lighthouse itself, which was built up here many years ago. It's a nice structure. And if I come over here, you get the great view down at Palm Beach towards Sydney. So we're now just walking along the top of the hill, and it's very, very interesting. It's a little bit different sort of landscape to what we've been used to. More coastal, I'd say. A bit more arid. Yeah, really nice walk. But we're just following the path, which we just re-emerged onto here, down to one of the really pretty viewpoints out over the beach. You get a taster of just here. We are now at this wonderful lookout out over Palm Beach. Really pretty, as you can see. You have the lighthouse up there, and then you've got all these wonderful rocks to climb over. Well, you want to make sure you're not overhanging any cliffs, especially these ones here, because you can get really good photos hanging off them with the beautiful beach behind you. We're now heading back down to our van, and we're going to watch some of Hollyoaks being filmed, I think. It's a new day here in Sydney, and today we've spent about the last 4 hours climbing up and down the Harbour Bridge in front of us. It's really good fun. It's quite expensive, but I'd say on balance well worth doing. And we once again have this lovely view of Sydney Harbour looking north, and we're just here at Observatory Park, similar to Greenwich in the UK, where they have their observatory and bits and bobs like that. We're now going to be heading to Bondi Beach by bus for a little bit of a chill out there this afternoon.
Hello family back in the UK.
We're here on the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
We'll see you in a month's time.
We are now here at Bondi Beach, which looks very pretty. Don't think it's the best place for surfing today, but looks nice to go and have a good sit down. It's only about 40 minutes out of central Sydney, so it's well worth a visit. But we are going to now go up to the Bondi Pavilion and go have a drink in one of their pubs. And then after that, we're going to catch the ferry and head back into the centre of Sydney and go to one of the swimming pools right by the Harbour Bridge. So we are flying along now. It is very windy out here. To such an extent, I don't know how much you can even hear me. But we've got the bridge in front of us, the Opera House to the side, and the city a bit more further around. And it's very good that they do these ferries, because it means you can get a very cheap way of getting all the way through the city. You don't need to pay anyone too much money. Just wander around here. You can get a really good view of the Opera House and the city behind it. And the boat's mercifully slowed down a little bit, so it's a little bit less windy now. So we've now arrived here at the North Sydney Olympic Swimming Pool, and it doesn't cost too much to get in. But you're greeted by the wonderful views of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House behind it. And I think it must be the nicest swimming pool I've ever been to, because it is absolutely stunning here. And here we're at Luna Park, just along from the swimming pool, which is a theme park built back in the 1930s along with the bridge. So we're going to go have a look at, but it seems to be a bit dead at the moment. Well, interesting enough, and it is once again right in the centre of the town. So we've now reached tonight's spot for dinner, which is a lovely little park overlooking all wonderful views we've been seeing today. And we've got this nice park here. We're sat on our bench with pizzas, and in about half an hour the sun's going to set on the other side of this, and it's going to look really pretty with all the light playing on the buildings. So it's getting dark now, but we've had a really good day here in Sydney. We've just seen the sun set over the Harbour Bridge, and now we're off home in the bus. Tomorrow we're leaving Sydney and we're going to be heading to the Blue Mountains to do some walking around, and we'll get back to you tomorrow.